Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm Obi-Wan with Hector V in the house. It is the NFL Week 2. And, man, let me tell you, if Week 1 left them scratching some heads, man, just wait until Week 2 with Hector and myself. We're going to make our picks for this week. And, there's some games to talk about real quick, and I know it's the week 1 jitters, Hector.
Yeah.
But we picked our top 6 games. You went 5-1. I went 4-2, and we're looking good moving on to week 2 because now the competition is getting better within the divisions.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now we're going to start seeing actual stats. We're going to actually see, people starting to wake up. The jitters are out the way. The starters are playing football now, and so what we saw in week 1, it could have been a big surprise for a lot of teams. Maybe things would start, thinning out a little bit and moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, let's just recap real quick here on first down. The Giants and the Commanders won. It wasn't a surprise, but the fact that the Commanders only scored 3 touchdowns and an amount of time that the defense stayed in the field for the Giants, it's surprising. That means the Giants have an awesome defense, just no support in the offense. And that's
Mm-hmm.
scratching my head. Not so much at Russell Wilson, but the preparation and the offense in general. And I think the finger should be pointing at the head coach because Daniel Jones had a wonderful, awesome week 1 with the Colts. And yet, here's the Giants. Got these quarterbacks. They got Jackson Dart at the bench. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna see something because things were looking good in the preseason. Giants looked the same 3 years in a row.
I know it, and I was saying to somebody before, I to me it wasn't all Daniel Jones' fault. Because if Russell Wilson is the John, or it has to be mainly on the seriously
Yeah,
the
I think
coaches.
the offense in general, right? Because the defense are doing what they're supposed to do, and I mean, there's so much that they could do to defend and make sure that they don't score. And again, when you look at each quarter, giving up 7 points first, second, and fourth quarter, I mean, it's good, right? And then you look at it and you be like, damn, the Giants only could score 2 field goals for the whole entire game, and you do that for 3 years in a row, not able to score a touchdown.
They get into the red
It's just
zone.
mind-boggling.
They can
Yeah.
get to the red zone. That's not the problem. It's just like
Hmm.
they forget how to play football when they get to the red zone.
Right. And it's keeping it in the same division, the Cowboys and the Eagles. I think the Cowboys had momentum until lightning struck, and then they had to delay the game. I'm
Literally.
not fascinated with the Eagles. I mean, Jalen Hurts was the one that was moving the ball a lot. They got the great running game, but I felt like it was, that second quarter right there for the Cowboys. I mean, scoring 13 points and everything else. I mean, they were looking good. They were looking solid. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look like a last place Cowboys like people were saying. So I do feel that the Cowboys will be in a winning side of the house when it's said and done. The Eagles, of course, they're still the contenders, the defending champs. But I'm gonna slow down the conversation about the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys did look good. Well, offensively, but defensively, I mean, both sides of the ball, defense for both teams didn't look so well. There was no stopping the offense from doing what they wanted to do in that first half, and I liked it. I mean, there was interesting football to see to open up the season, for the first half. But you're right, when lightning literally struck, it was like it just killed the momentum for both teams, and the Eagles just got the better of it, I guess.
Right. Speaking about the defending champs, the runner-ups were the Chiefs, and they lost their first game against the Chargers. Chargers finally got over the hump, 27-21. Uh, I don't know, just something about the Chiefs that I feel like it could be their time to decline. For so long they've been dominant going to the Super Bowl or to the what's that called, the AFC championships and everything else. I mean, sooner or later you got to run out of gas.
Yeah, I think that tank is actually going on empty, and they have maybe 100 miles before the next gas station. Everybody's already figuring them out, but you got to expect, you got to, just like when the Tom Brady era was there, we got the Mahomes era. They're going to be there, okay,
Hmm.
unless the injury bug takes over. The Chiefs will be there. I mean, for the Chargers to only win by 6 points, and the Chiefs did not put up their best game. I don't
Right.
know. That doesn't tell me too much about the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at it. Like I said, week one, the game was in
Yeah,
Brazil,
yeah,
so the travel and everything else, they still probably recovering from that travel. So, it is what it is. And then
yeah.
the Steelers and the Jets, man, I didn't pay no mind to it. Aaron Rodgers, again, behind the microphone. They're the Jets. I mean, what do you expect? They're the Jets. But I'm questioning on both sides of both teams on the defense because scoring 66 points. I mean, this is the Steelers that were known for defense, and then they're giving up over 30 points. I just left scratching my head like you might won week one and you might have defeated the Jets because you played for them and you got disgruntled about it, but it's still a long season. And I still believe that the Steelers don't got what it takes. And I doubt if the Steelers make it to the playoffs.
I think the Steelers will make the playoffs, but for Justin Fields to play good ball against Aaron Rodgers on week one was pretty impressive to me. I actually
Mhm.
watched the whole game, and it was pretty impressive. But you're right, it was the defense that just didn't step up. The Steelers made one good, I think it was one defensive play in the fourth quarter. That's why they put up 17 points, and they put two scores up really quick. That made the difference. But with Aaron Glenn now there at the helms of the New York Jets, this could be pretty interesting. I mean, we'll see how he deals with
I'm
Justin Fields.
hoping that see some more improvements for the Jets because
Yeah,
it's like they say in Spanish, el que gira último gira mejor means whoever laughs better. And I do see the Jets probably doing better than the Steelers. Just saying. Yeah. Three more games to recap: the Lions and the Packers. Uh, I picked the Packs. They're good, man. Like they're going to represent. I think they have a stronger chance making it to the NFC Championship in that division.
they did look good. I mean, I know we both picked them to win a division. This is a good starting point right there at home. It's just nothing but going up with this team right now. I mean, I think they were pretty. I thought they were pretty decent last year. I think they're going to
Yeah.
probably be an improvement this year. The Lions are on a slight decline, in my opinion. So, yeah, that was a good game.
Vikings and the Bears. Bears should have won this game. They blew it, giving up 21 points in the fourth quarter. Like, what were you doing? Like, again, you have all this time to kill, all this time to you got the running game. I just don't understand, the tactics they go in there and just fold at the very end. But hopefully it's a lesson learned for the Bears. Vikings to me, to be honest with you, are very lucky. I'm not a
Yeah,
JJ McCarthy fan. I don't think he's an elite quarterback.
right.
I just didn't see anything fascinating when he was with the University of Michigan. And for them to give up on Sam Darnold for JJ McCarthy, they see something that I don't see. But for the Bears, I hope that they don't choke again in the fourth quarter.
This is like the Bears continuing where they left off last year. Just blowing the
Hmm.
leads, the games that they should be winning. Yeah, I don't know. The Bears, they have potential. That's that team that you want to root for, but they just let themselves down, and
Yeah, and
disappoint
they
you.
look better than last year, man. The first three quarters
Yeah.
was all Bears. I'm just saying, like it looked good. But you know who else looked better? Probably the best game of week one was the Ravens and the Bills.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
literally, I stayed up watching this game because sometimes I watch the Sunday night football by halftime. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna turn it off. I couldn't. I
Right.
couldn't in this game. It was
Yeah.
action from start to finish. And I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if we see the Ravens and the Bills in the AFC championship. That would be
I think
worthwhile to
I
see.
think I think we got a preview, and I picked up my pen. I was ready to mark my loss because Buffalo was down. I was late in that fourth quarter. I was like, well, but Baltimore got the best of them, but here comes the Bills. They just
Yeah, baby.
They're showing why they
Got
are the team to beat in the AFC.
Well, they screaming hard. So let's see if they can maintain that mental momentum throughout the whole entire season. Let's
Yeah.
move on to second down, and we'll start with our picks, man. We'll start off with Seattle at the Steelers, and this is week 2 of Hector's picks. We both agree on 3 games to choose from the top 6. So we'll start with the first 3 on his own. So Hector, who you got?
I got the Steelers in this one. I mean, yeah, I know they weren't all that impressive last week, on the defensive side, but I'm not too fond of what Seattle the way they played against San Francisco, and so we're gonna see how this
All right.
goes. With because I'm pretty how Sam Darnold plays.
Right, right. And you know what? What's
Go
I'm
ahead.
surprised is the the total points is 39 and a half. And if I'm a betting man, I might just go over 39 and a half. I do believe that it's going to be a higher score than what it's being displayed here. I feel like it's a favor for you to bid over. So I'm staying with that. But yeah, you got the Steelers over the Seahawks. Is a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's see what goes there, huh? But moving on to the Rams and the Titans.
This game right here, I was kind of like, going back and forth with it, but I was pretty impressed with the way the Rams played last week, um, and so I want to see what Matthew Stafford got here going on here against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, just did not look. I don't know. I don't even know how you even call that game last week. Cam Ward getting sacked 6 times, and then if the Rams defense brings that same pressure coming into this game, Cam Ward can add another 6 to that list. Okay. And then what's that Rams receiver's name? Puka Nakua. You know what I'm saying? He had a great game. And so I can see that. I like that combination of Nakua and Stafford. I think they're going to keep that momentum going. And I think the Rams are going to beat Tennessee.
All right. You also got the Jaguars and the Bengals.
Yeah, this one I think is pretty interesting. You know, we all know how the Bengals could be. They could just they know how to fool bar things one here and there, but and Jacksonville could pull this game out. This is not a division game, but it feels like it sometimes when these two teams get together. But even though the Bengals won an ugly game, um, I want to see what they can do to try to slow down Travis Etienne because he kind of ran a little buck wild on the Panthers last week, even though he didn't score a touchdown. I don't know how you can have so many rushing yards and not even score a touchdown in that game. But I want to see how the Bengals defense go about trying to contain him since they had a hard time against the Cleveland Browns. So, but I'm giving this one to the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right. Let's go with some games that we agreed upon. The Bills and the Jets.
Mm. I from what I understand, I think three of the two of the three or three of the last 4 times that they played in New York at, at MetLife, the Jets has had the upper hand against the Buffalo Bills. So that's why I'm kind of intrigued to see if Josh Allen is going to have the mojo to go after that big comeback win. Do they still have that offense riled up to go against this new look Jets offense with Justin Fields? He was efficient in the first half. I mean, throughout the whole game, pretty much. I mean, he looked at like he's been playing this game for quite a
Mm.
while. And like I said, Aaron Glenn being at the helm there, what is he going to bring to the AFC? As far as the rivalries with these teams. So I like to see how the Jets keep it close, but Buffalo, I give them the win on this one.
I got Buffalo, and the way that these guys play, they play from start to finish. There's no break here and there. Slow start for the Bills, but they got that resilience. They got that never quit attitude. So I want to be surprised not only if the Bills win by a touchdown, but I'll say that you add 2 more into it because I do feel like Justin Fields might be turning over the ball a couple of times and allowing the Bills to take advantage in the field position wise and be able to score a nonchalant on them. So I'm taking the Bills. And it's gonna be hot, man. It's gonna be 80 degrees this weekend. Can you believe that? Man. Another game that we
That's
agree
what you
on.
want to call hot.
Falcons versus the Vikings. Now, on this one, Falcons, they did lose their first game, but I'm not really focused on the Falcons itself. I'm more focused on the Vikings
Right.
because like we said
Hmm.
earlier, JJ McCarthy, yeah, did JJ McCarthy lead this team, or was it the Bears that ended up falling short? Right? Did they beat themselves? So
Right.
that's the thing. But I'm not too fond of the Falcons either. So being a home game and Vikings winning more home games with this within the competition with these two, I am sticking with the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Vikings too. McCarthy making his first home start. And I know people were saying, "Oh, this is the rematch of the '24 championship game in college football." But this isn't college anymore,
Mm-hmm.
people. This is the pros. This is the NFL, and both teams should have won last week. Well, the Vikings did. Vikings. I mean, I should say the Vikings should have lost. The Falcons should have won with the heartbreaker against Tampa Bay. But it is what it is. I think this is going to be a close contended game. It may even come down to a field goal, for all I know. But I got the Vikings myself winning this game.
All right, the Broncos versus the Colts. This is my favorite because I'm a big Bo Nix fan. Watching him playing in Auburn and in Oregon, and then being able to be on this platform, he had one hell of a rookie season. I believe that he's improved, but he's going against Daniel Jones, a former Giants quarterback, a backup in the Vikings, and Daniel Jones had one hell of a game last week. But you're going against the defense of the Denver Broncos. They're going to be ready. And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
that week one jitters. Now you're going to see your true colors. What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
I am taking the Denver Broncos to win on the road.
Yeah, I've got the Broncos too. I mean, they had 6 sacks last week, and all from different players. You talking about that's just by the way you spread the defense out, And so, if they can bring that pressure against Daniel Jones, then Daniel Jones is going to be having flashbacks like he was back in the Giants uniform.
Now, all right, moving on to third down. These are my three picks. They're different than Hector. I got the Giants at the Cowboys. If I was a betting man, that 5.5 it looks too easy, and I'm picking the points for Dallas to defeat the Giants. Russell Wilson is expected to start. I didn't see anything awesome. I just don't know what the coaches think when they start starting people because many believe that Jackson Dart should be the starter of the New York Giants, being that he looked so impressive during preseason, and yet you pick Russell Wilson there. It just I don't know. I don't even know if it's that or the offensive line or how everything is structured. But I tell you what, this is the Giants are just a one half team. So again, there's a lot more to it for the Cowboys. It's probably a stinger. And I wouldn't be surprised that if you're playing fantasy points, you better choose the tight ends of the Cowboys because they're going to get a lot of receptions. And I wouldn't be surprised they go over 100 yards. That's how good I'm saying that the Cowboys are going to go on top of the New York Giants.
Hmm. I agree. I can't argue with that. No, I mean Cowboys are going to just dog walk the Giants on this one.
Yeah, but no one's dog walking here with the Bears and the Lions. Yeah, I remember last year the Bears had a chance to win it, and the Bears quarterback fumbled, and not only that he fumbled, but man, them decisions weren't that pretty, allowing the Lions to win. Now they got a rematch going at Detroit. Let's see what happens here. But with the Lions starting at 0-1 and the Bears 0-1, is the Bears going to beat themselves, or is the Lions able to adapt and knowing that they don't have their offensive or defensive coordinator, can they overcome and win their first game? I'm sticking with the Lions on this one. And lastly, Eagles versus the Chiefs, Hector. I'm scratching my head, man, because I understand the Chiefs being in Brazil, one thing, losing to the Chargers. I feel like to me that was still an exhibition game, right? And would have been different if the game was in Kansas City or would have been in LA, right? But now we're here in Kansas City against the Eagles that they didn't have to travel far. I'm trying to pick the Chiefs, but what's your take?
That's why I stood away from this game because man, this is not the Super Bowl teams that we've seen. I mean, the Chiefs don't look like they were ready to play football last week.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I get it. You're going to be at home, but does that really matter? I mean, they look like they just lost some kind of mojo.
It could be
You
Brazil,
know,
man. I mean,
I
like different time zone, different atmosphere. They're not at with their loved ones. I don't know. It's like it's weird being in a different country. You know what I mean?
it is, it is. But I would, if anything, I think I would have picked the Chiefs as a slight
Mm.
advantage over the Eagles.
Well,
Very slight. I mean, not by much.
well, the betters
By
don't
the hair
don't
of my
know who
chinny
they
chin
go
chin.
to, so they picking the champs first. They're only favored by a point and a half.
Yeah, I
But
see. Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. I'm gonna stay home on this one and see if Steve Spagnuolo will adjust that defense and stop. But if the Chiefs don't stop that running game of the Eagles, it's over. Now,
no, you're right. I mean, it.
yeah, yeah.
What's that?
Look at it. You're speechless. Like, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seriously. I'm like
yeah,
so early in the season, we getting the Super
yeah.
Bowl rematch. It's like,
Hey,
and it's not even
no,
exciting.
but it's exciting when you look back and be like, this is a different team than from the beginning. I mean, they do play 17 games in 18 weeks. So, it is what it is. But for week two, it's all about momentum here because teams that start 2-0 can shape their season early, while those dropping 0-2 face an uphill battle. Whether you're riding with Hector's picks or mine, one thing's for certain is that the NFL never disappoints. So stay tuned for more breakdowns, and we'll be back next week live to not only recap week two, but giving you week three predictions. So, on behalf of Hector and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening in to All Four Downs on the Four Downs, Three Counts production. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.